Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Glowhood podcast. I'm your host Danielle, and today's episode is going to be on self-love. So now let's get into it. Alright, so what is self-love? I'm sure all of us have heard about it, have, been seeing it all over the place. Self-love this, self-love that. But what does that actually mean and entail? Like, what is that? Well, self-love is self-discipline plus self-validation. Those two combined equate to self-love. What is self-discipline? Well, that's something where only you can hold yourself accountable to achieve your goals. That's between you and you. No one else is involved in that process. No one else can help you with that process. No one else can do it for you. Only you can do that on your own. Even as we see children, growing up, there's a certain point where parents have the responsibility of caring for that individual while they're an infant. And then once the child starts growing up a little bit, ages like 2 to 3 years old, you see that they start having autonomy over themselves. They start doing things on their own. They start realizing that they have control over their own bodies, and there's certain things that no one can do for them. No one can eat on your behalf. No one can go to the bathroom on your behalf. No one can get sick on your behalf, and no one can be healthy on your behalf. Those are things that you have to do on your own. That's something that only you can do. That is your own personal responsibility. And self-discipline comes in when you hold yourself accountable to be able to achieve whatever goal or whatever the daily task is. You're holding yourself accountable to be able to achieve that thing. Because again, no one can do anything for you that you have the responsibility of. So I want to put this in like practical terms and like an actual example. And I think I used this already in the previous episode, but if there is something like you having to go to school, you have to have your own accountability to be able to do that. No one can, granted, obviously there are loopholes, like of course someone can do your homework for you, but you're not going to be able to learn the information that you need to learn if you do not learn it. If you do not actively put yourself in a position to learn, no one can learn on your behalf. No one can execute whatever goal that you have on your behalf. Sure, you can hire people, you can have an idea, you can have some people work for you, but no one is going to have that same drive and passion to be able to execute the thing that you want to be executed in a particular way, but you. So just keep that in mind. If you ever have any issues, if you second guess yourself with things, just remember there's certain things that you are responsible for, and solely you, only you. No one else has that responsibility but you. Another example is being a parent. No one can really be a parent to your child the way you would. No one is going to love that child the way you would. Of course, there's family members and close friends and, whoever that can love your child to an extent, but no one will ever love that child at the scale that you will. So that is your own personal responsibility. That is something that only you can do on your own. And obviously with a partner, because it takes two to create a child. But that's one area that I'd like to emphasize. There's certain tasks and things that only you can do. And this is actually something that I tell my daughter from time to time, where, if she's having issues eating or she doesn't like food or something, and I tell her, no one can eat for you. I cannot eat the food for you and it goes to your body to do what it needs to do. Only you can do that. God gave each and every one of us a body to care for. That is our sole responsibility, to care for it. No one can do that on our behalf. That's why we have been given this life and this body to execute certain things that only we can do. All of us are unique. All of us have skills, talents, and strengths. Some can be improved, some can be learned, but there's only a certain tenacity that each individual has that can execute a certain thing that particular way. That's why we're all unique. That's why everyone's skills and everyone is special, because everyone is their own masterpiece. And I heard this from one of my friends. Shout out to you, Abby. But everyone is their own unique work of art. So, if you want to do something, do it. I saw again where it was a post about how fast this year has gone by, and it's literally December. Who would have thought in January that we'd already be here in December and feel like, not much has changed? I'm sure a lot of us have been expecting more. Some of us have been able to achieve a lot, and some have not. What is holding each and every one of us back? Is it the concept of time? Is it the mentality of being able to achieve certain things? What is holding each one back from achieving full potential? At the end of the day, that's self-discipline. Do you have the discipline to be able to hold yourself accountable to achieve your goals and get one step closer every single day to achieving that goal? We'll see. Next year, 2022 is in less than 30 days. So we're all going to see just how accountable we are to ourselves, because that accountability also brings in self-validation. If you're able to trust yourself and know that you can achieve what you set your mind to and that you achieve it in the manner that gives you the results that you're seeking, then that self-validation breeds confidence. And that confidence is something that no one can take away. No matter the criticism, no matter your own self-doubt or your own insecurities, if you have that confidence in you, no one can take that from you, because you know what you're capable of. You know that you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to. And all of those things combined, the self-discipline, the self-validation, that breeds self-love. And that self-love can not only protect you and assist you in achieving your goals, protect you from low value and low quality relationships. And I mean relationships in every sense of the word. I'm not specifically speaking on romantic relationships. I'm talking about every type of relationship that exists. That self-love can protect you from unfavorable situations that would be detrimental to your spirit, to your body, to your mind, to your emotional well-being, to your mental health. Self-love is the literal key to having a great time here on this earth, because no one can do the things that we want to do for us. We can ask for assistance, sure, but there's just certain tasks that no one can do but you. That's why you're here. You are here to contribute whatever skill set, whatever goals, whatever ambition, whatever idea you have. You're here to contribute that to the greater good. And if you feel like that's not your place and that's not your purpose, well, I encourage you to do some deep dive into why you feel like that. Because I know I go through my, ups and downs as everyone. I know that I'm not the only one who goes through the struggles that everyday life is, because there's a reason why there's so many of us here at the same time, for us to find each other, to connect with each other, and to make sure that all of us are able to lift ourselves up. So if you see someone who's tearing someone else down, that means they're hurting inside, and they're hurting in a way where they want to see other people feel their pain. Instead of engaging in that, and instead of participating in that, or believing whatever they're telling you that is negative, that may not actually have anything to do with you, instead try and help them and encourage them if you can, and if it's safe for you mentally, physically, emotionally, and all that. If it's not safe for you, then definitely remove yourself and get out of the way. You don't need to put yourself in harm's way to save someone else. Everyone is responsible for saving themselves. No one is coming to save you. You are saving you. And how do you do that? You have to have self-discipline. That self-discipline will lead to having self-validation. And that self-validation will lead you to having self-love. All of those things combined will make you a dangerous person. And I'm not saying dangerous in a negative way. It'll make you a very dangerous person, as in you are someone not to be played with, because you know your capability, you know where you stand, you know what you can bring to the table, you know what you can contribute to the greater good of society. You know what you can do on this planet, and no one can do that for you or on your behalf. You can do that. And you know where you stand. And that, I feel like, is so powerful. And I wish that everyone, if you're listening to this, please share this with anyone who you feel might need this message. But everyone should definitely take the time to know who you are. If you need to, go back to my very first episode where I said getting to know yourself and start from there. If you listen to each of these episodes, I'm aiming to bring everyone one step closer to finding and achieving their goals and to finding who they are. Because I know I've personally struggled for a long time figuring out who I was in society. Instead of being placed in a box that society has put me in, I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can achieve. I know that if I put my mind to something, trust and believe that thing is going to be done to a level of excellence that no one else can replicate. And that's not to be cocky, and it's not to say that I'm better than anyone. I just know myself and I know what I can do. I know what I can contribute. And I want each and every one who is listening to this podcast or who knows someone who needs this message to encourage everyone else, because again, Earth is depending on us. We are all dependent on each other. This greater good, the greater society that we've created is not working for everyone. We can see that in everyday life. We see that there's so many people who are struggling in some capacity. There's always something going on with a school shooting, or there's someone getting robbed, or there's someone getting murdered. There's someone that's going through something that is very negative, and they're inflicting that negativity onto other people around them, making their communities unsafe, making the area that they live in somewhere where they can't feel comfortable. And I don't like that. I know that no one likes being in those situations. It's very uncomfortable. You feel uneasy. If you can't feel safe, you cannot reach your self-actualization. The first step in, again, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is safety. You need to be able to feel safe to be able to progress to the next level. If you can't even do that, you're on survival mode. And survival mode is where our instinctual primal instincts basically are at. And if you're on survival mode, you're not able to thrive because you are just trying to figure out what the next move. You're literally living in an adrenaline-filled environment where you're in fight or flight at any given moment, and you cannot escape that. And that is a stress hormone. That stress hormone ages you. It also leads to a premature demise, and it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the person who's going through it, and it doesn't help the people around them. Everyone should be able to live a happy, thrilling life. No one should have to be so stressed that they're not able to even achieve their basic goals and have their daily needs met. That's not what we are here on this earth to do. We are here to achieve certain things. And those things, whatever it is, should be contributing to the greater good of the entire humanity. Again, if you like this message, if you feel like this message will help someone close to you, even if they're not close to you, just share this message and send it with love. Everyone needs self-discipline. Everyone needs self-validation. Those two combined equates to self-love, and everyone needs self-love. Self-love will prevent you from being in toxic situations. Self-love will help you to help others find their self-love. If someone can see that you are radiating love, they'll be drawn to you. And then they'll try and figure out, how did you get to that level? And if you show them how you got to that level, they will be able to then radiate that self-love and then help others. And it becomes like a contagion. And it's a good contagion because, feelings are contagious. Whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we realize it or not, feelings are contagious. You know that if you step into a room and someone is radiating positivity, the whole room feels lighter, and it feels like, wow, it's like a special feeling in the air. And the opposite is true too. If someone is radiating negativity, you can feel that. And it's not a mistake. You can feel it. So I just want all of us to start radiating love and positivity. And again, this is not to be toxic positivity, because I know that it's not always possible in every situation. But if we can aim to do that, then I think that we will be on a better track for the greater good of society, because the way that we're going now is not great. I can see a few things that are currently happening, and I can see how this ends, and it does not end well if we do not course correct. And we need to do a hard course correct, a very hard course correct. And the way that we do that is by positivity and by self-love. What did Martin Luther King say? He said, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that is what I want us to do, to not engage in the hateful behaviors that has been so normalized in our society, but instead to create and cultivate love. That thing will be able to help all of us. And I just hope that you like this message. If you want to hear more episodes like this or on a similar topic, please let me know. You can find us at www.glowhood.com. You can also find us on all social media platforms at Glowhood Podcast. And I hope to see you on the next episode. Adios. Bye-bye.